At least 7 boys have died in the Eastern Cape since the summer initiation season has started. The National Assembly's now passed the Customary Initiation Bill. It hopes to regulate initiation schools and reduce deaths. Government has stressed it does not intend to interfere with customary practices. Instead, officials want to eliminate bogus schools. Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Deputy Minister Obed Papela now joins us in the studio. Thank you so much for giving up a bit of your Sunday to join us to discuss what I believe is a very, very important bill. The work that's gone into this bill, very much directed at saving lives.
Definitely, when I came in the department in 2014, the death toll in the initiation schools were over 100 per each season. And then after visiting the families, the sadness that I saw, the cries that were going on, I then went to the department and said, we need to strengthen the law. Without the law, we'll never be able to save lives. And then I promised the nation that we will definitely begin the process of drafting the law. And it takes long in South Africa. You go through consultation with the cabinet, you go to parliament, parliament takes its own processes, they visit provinces, but finally the National Assembly has passed the law last week, and we hope that it will go to the NCOP to go through a particular process so that by sometime next year we have the law that can then ban and eliminate all bogus schools, illegal schools, and all the illegal activities that are taking place in the initiation schools.
Why did you believe it was necessary to go the route of a special customary initiation bill? If human beings' lives were being put at risk, why do you believe a bill was necessary and that the general law that would prevent death was not enough to prevent this particular type of death?
It was when I met the police and the National Prosecuting Authority and say, you arrest people, but they come out, they get easy bails. What is the problem? They said running an illegal school is not anti the law. So therefore, no one is breaking the law. They just run a school until there's a death.
There was no regulation.
There was no regulation. There was no law that prevents. So therefore, they said they will wait until somebody dies. So, and with so many illegal schools going around, we couldn't just wait until people dies. And then that's why I then said, no, let's then begin to bring a law that says it's punishable for anyone to start a school. Maximum sentence, 5 years, minimum 3 years. And if that can be a deterrent, then we'll be stopping those who are just running the schools for commercial purposes, not following any cultural phenomenons, no culture at all, no training, no teaching of the young boys. They just want to see money. They even kidnap them. Then the kidnap law will then apply. Obviously, that law is in existence. So this law will be speaking to that particular aspect. Consent of the parents. Parents must consent. Without consension, and if it is found that the parents themselves collaborated with certain scrupulous people, they must know, therefore, that they will also face the might of the law. Because you, as parents, must really know what is happening with your children. You must be in control of them and then give them permission at the right age, at the right time.
It must have been particularly difficult to script or put this, or the processes you followed was particularly difficult because it dealt with very important and sensitive cultural issues. There was some pushback to the processes you followed. Controlesa, I remember a few months ago, denouncing the parliamentary committee's public hearings on the bill, saying that it, quote, makes a mockery of African customs. How did you deal with those kinds of sensitivities?
Definitely there were a lot of sensitivities. We took care of them. And understanding, however, the Constitution dictates to government, protect life. So that is the constitutional obligation on the side of government. We had to put it across to them and say, you have lost control yourselves as traditional leaders. There's urbanization that is taking place in your own areas. There's urbanization of people moving from your own areas to the big cities and big towns. When they arrive there, they no longer come back to do this practice. They do it there. And there's no traditional leaders there. There are no representatives that knows what is happening there. So this law is going to help protect this important tradition of Africans that is old age and centuries that our African people have been practicing. We're not interfering on the inside of the the tradition and the practice itself. It's only the establishment, where should it be, what should happen, who should be doing, and those people need to be registered, that need to be registered should be known. If there's no traditional leader, municipalities must then also play a role without interfering with the practices of the tradition itself. So that's what we had to do and put across. Life mattered a lot, and I think no one could argue when we say we are protecting life.
Now, a National Assembly passing this Customary Initiation Bill is one step. The next step is, of course, communicating the existence of this bill to those who matter most when it comes to this bill, especially in the rural areas that you just spoke of. How are you going to go about that people actually know this bill exists and that they have rights, both the families and also, most importantly, these young boys or young men on the way to becoming men, so that they know that they have rights and that they can be protected? How are you going to go about that?
Well, there's another step before the law becomes ascended to law, is the National Council of Provinces, that they will also have to look at it, go to their provinces, get mandates. They will once more engage with the traditional leaders, once more engage with communities and so forth, and then bring those comments to strengthen the law wherever there are weaknesses or issues, and then pass it. Once it is passed, it will go to the president to assent into law. Once it is the law, we will be ready with the resources now. That will enable us now to ask for money, to budget for it. Awareness is going to be very key, to go to all the schools. We need to go to all community churches and then talk to people. We need to go to all villages, all over, across all provinces.
Social media, radio.
Social media, radio and all, but specifically targeting the travel spots, which is Eastern Cape for now, and then a portion of Mpumalanga, where that still continues to occur. In Limpopo, they've got it right. We need to learn from Limpopo. What is it that they did correctly? That there are no more deaths taking place in initiation schools. So that we could then take lessons and the law and the application of the law and the resources that needs to ensure that the law is known. And we'll do a lot of advertising, a lot of more talk shows, and I think we'll make it happen that everyone is aware that the do's and the don'ts. We'll go to the schools and plug, all the schools notice boards and say, the do's and the don'ts if you are a believer of the traditional initiation.
One final question before I let you go. The implementation will be key. And once you've done all of your awareness programs, law enforcement then will be key. And indeed also, correct me if I'm wrong, the municipalities that will be expected to inspect properties that are used for initiation processes. So they also need to be brought up to speed.
They will definitely be brought into speed, because they will then also designate in sites so that no one just walk in. We saw in Johannesburg, in Soweto particularly, the mine dumps where we have discovered schools hidden in those areas. In abandoned factories also you find a lot. In the rural areas, they go to the mountain deep in the forest. We'll also have to apply technology to help us now, such as drones, maybe flying over quietly without exposing, but then just looking whether that movement and that school is known, so that if it's not known, the police can quickly go in and deal with the situation.
Wow, a big job you have ahead. We thank you for your time. That was Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Deputy Minister Obed Papela. Thank you so much,
thank you very much
for coming in.